The Mood Tracker series is back. We head down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama tonight to talk about not the defending national champ, but the defending SEC champ, as it were. So the Mood Tracker is just a slice of the fan base. How are they feeling? From Haleyville to Ozark, from Bio La Battery to Florence, everywhere in between in the state of Alabama. How are they feeling about Alabama football? It's always fun to do the Alabama Mood Tracker because it's like the most first world problem or list of problems in all of college football. It's really fun. There's a lot of freaking out routinely around Alabama football about things that would be the envy of most of America. So the mood that we arrived at for Alabama is a sort of emotional reloading. No one likes to lose the national championship game, although it's great that you were there and you won the SEC championship against the same team that beat you in the national championship, and that'll look weird in a history book 50 years from now. I'll grant you that. But if you've ever gone fishing, there's several different ways really you can do it. You could, of course, do it with a spear, like Tom Hanks in Castaway. You just get one shot at it. You can do it with a rod and reel, and at any given time, you still only have one shot at it. You could hang off a tree branch. You could try and do it like Creed Bratton in The Office, bare hand. At Alabama, the way they fish is they go get a giant barrel, and they pour a bunch of fish in it, and then they take a shotgun, and they just get to shoot into the barrel. And if they miss, oh well, reload, shoot again. This is not a program that has to build and build and build and, oh, we may be able to contend this year. They just get to do it every year. In fact, it is such a warped sense of what reality is for everyone else in college football that last year they were in the national championship game leading in the fourth quarter, and a lot of people would tell you it was a miracle. It was Nick Saban's best coaching job since he's been at Alabama, and they would basically poor mouth the team that won the conference title and was a quarter away from winning the national championship. So in order to make you understand why people really aren't all that up in arms and they're ready to go and they think they're the favorite for a reason this year, remember what happened. Remember what you had, if you're an Alabama fan, going into last year. And certainly if you're a college football fan, I think going into seasons, there are these talking points people have about teams. Right now, for instance, it's talking point season, preview magazine season. Well, let me tell you what the preview magazines were saying about Bama last year. They were losing the biggest collection of talent Nick Saban had ever lost from the best team Nick Saban had ever had. First-round quarterback, Mac Jones. First-round running back, Najee Harris. First-round wide receiver, Jalen Waddle. First-round wide receiver, Devontae Smith. First-round corner, Pat Surtain. First-round offensive lineman, Alex Leatherwood. Another first-round caliber offensive lineman, if not for injury, in Landon Dickerson, who was part of the very glue and fabric and quintessential leadership of that team. First-round defensive lineman, Christian Barmore, or high second round, I think he was. Also, I think the best offensive coordinator Saban's ever had, in Steve Sarkisian. All of those folks walked out the door, and he took the team to the national championship game again anyway. So yes, it is fishing in a barrel with a shotgun, and you just get to take another shot every single year. So they're going to take a shot this year, and the mood around there is just a kind of emotional reloading. It was a generational experience for Georgia folks to win that national championship in Indianapolis a few months ago because they hadn't done it. Bama folks have done it half a dozen times under this guy, Nick Saban, already. They got the best overall odds in the national championship picture entering 2022. Bryce Young, insane pass rush. They have got a very, very good portal haul, the likes of Jahmyr Gibbs and Eli Ricks and Jermaine Burton, the Harrell kid, a wide receiver there out of Louisville. And also, not to be overlooked, was Nick Saban in the spring repeatedly when he was asked by the media in Tuscaloosa there. He said, this team's really got no drama on it. Good leadership. We don't really have any problem guys on this team. Now, he said that a few times in his career. I'm pretty sure like every one of those teams went on to just salt the earth with the rest of the sport that year. He's mentioning that for a reason. It wasn't exactly the case at all times last year, nor should it have been. How in the world do you lose that much leadership and just go on merrily about your business? I am of the camp that believes last year was one of that staff's best coaching jobs, and I am of the camp that they should be the favorite going into this year. They would tell you, ooh, offensive line's uncertain, and it is. It is. But we're not comparing this team to past Alabama teams. We're comparing them to the other teams across the landscape of 2022 college football. There's not one that looks better, at least as my eyes see it in May. And guess what that means? Goose egg, nothing. But that's all we have to go on. We can only predict the future with the information at hand. So the 2022 schedule, they got a trip to Texas in week 2. They open conference play against Vanderbilt, prayers for the Commodores, and then that trip to Arkansas, followed by a game against Texas A&M, followed by a game at Tennessee. That 3-game stretch right there, at Arkansas, A&M, at Tennessee, that's the meat of their schedule because we can't know what LSU is. They got a back-to-back road against LSU and Ole Miss later in the year, but that 3-game stretch from the 1st of October to the 15th, that is the meat of their schedule. And that's why there's an emotional reloading, but really no more in Tuscaloosa.